Hello, my name is Annette Anderson, and I'm the Academic Program Director for the Center for Safe and Healthy Schools. I'm excited today that we have with us Dr. Lieny Jeon, who's going to talk to us about the coronavirus and schools. And she is the assistant professor of education in the School of Education at Johns Hopkins University, and she is also the director of research for our IDEAL Center here at the School of Education. Welcome, Dr. Jeon.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about the role of stress for teachers. I know that you have done a lot of research in thinking about stress in teachers, but now that we're adding on this layer of uncertainty about the coronavirus for teachers, why might this be something that increases their stress in the classroom right now?
Yeah. So as you said, stress is already an issue in school settings in many, many ways. And as you said, this is additional factor that really impact teachers' stress. So I think there are twofolds. So first of all, teachers are definitely concerned about their classroom management and school management if they are not really well informed by the school leadership what to do. Like for example, if let's say that a student starts to cough and other students start to react to that. And then if teachers don't know what to do at that point because they're not well informed by the school, and if they don't have much information about what to do, then it's definitely anxiety and stress for teachers. Another thing is that they might be really concerned about their own health as well, because it can really impact their health, right? So, and another thing is that a lot of teachers don't have health insurance, especially in early childhood education setting as well.
That's an issue.
So people are already worried about the costs associated with the coronavirus and
testing.
Yeah, testing.
Yes.
So if they don't have health insurance for themselves and if they don't have health insurance for family, then they definitely worried about their health and what's going to happen if they see any symptoms of the coronavirus. And I think another stressor is that in 2000, there was a scale called Childcare Worker Job Stress Inventory developed. And one of items defined as a stressor in childcare setting, especially in early childhood education, was that parents bringing sick children at school settings, because that can spread the virus.
Yes.
And if parents are not really aware of this as well, then that can be another stress.
Go to work.
Right.
So they don't have childcare in case of the sickness.
Yeah.
So sometimes parents are sending sick children to school or sending sick children to early learning care, learning facilities.
So it's really a systematic issue, right? Schools should provide appropriate training for teachers and appropriate information for teachers to use that information in the classroom to educate students. And also schools should make clear message to parents as well, so parents know what to do when their kids are sick.
Yeah. So what happens when teachers get really concerned and really stressed out if they think their health might be impacted by the coronavirus? What might be some of the responses that they have?
Yeah, so when they're really concerned and stressed and when they feel symptoms of the coronavirus, like fever or cough, right?
Yes.
Then we generally recommend that you stay at home.
Yes.
But it is not an easy solution in school settings.
No, it's not. No.
Because teachers might be worried about their absence days and they cannot stay at home for a week or two without clear school level policy in terms of what's going to happen after they are absent for 5-10 consecutive days, right? And especially in early childhood education settings, there's not that enough pool of substitute teachers as well. So if you don't find substitute teachers, then what's going to happen to your children in the classroom? So teachers are stressed by the fact that children might be left alone in the classroom.
Well, and also because teachers like to feel that they are pulling their own weight, their own load.
Yeah.
And so if one teacher is consecutively absent many days in a row, the other teachers on the team start to feel pressure.
Yeah.
And so there is this push and pull relationship that on a team of teachers that we're all doing our part. And when that doesn't happen because one teacher has extended absences. So it does play into the factoring that a teacher thinks about as they decide whether or not to take a day off.
That's
so there's a lot of pressure for teachers to take a day off, even if they're not well, they are trying to gauge how sick they are to determine whether it warrants them going into school. And that creates additional stress. Is that what you're suggesting?
Of course. And even before they start to feel symptoms or they start to experience some fever or headache or whatever symptoms they have, they might be just afraid of what's going to happen in the future and what they can do when they're sick. Especially when they don't have health insurance, then what they're going to do. And sick days and vacation days is really complicated.
It does, because it could potentially, it could put them potentially at odds with their leadership and their administration if it feels, again, like they are trying to take too many days when there aren't subs or there aren't other ways to relieve them in the classroom. So that is a stress for our teachers. Wow. So what should teachers do to help to alleviate some of the stress? What can schools do to help to support teachers? I know that there's a lot of concern about schools closing, and teachers are also trying to make plans, contingency plans for students in the case of school closures. But what can schools do to help the teachers to feel less stressed about this?
First of all, I think it's critical for schools to provide information for teachers and then build some policy around what's going to happen when they're absent or what they should do when they feel symptoms. So I think the school leadership has to have clear message towards teachers so that teachers can bring that message to students as well. And then schools should be all prepared when things happen, right? They should be prepared what's going to happen when a teacher is absent for several days. And what's going to happen if they observe any students having some of symptoms. So I think it is very important for schools to have policy around their practices and discipline in the school.
Now, one of the things that has become an issue as of late is the propensity for schools to try to figure out whether or not to close if the coronavirus continues to spread as it has been at the same rate. If schools are closed, does that just take teachers off the hook in terms of the stress that they might have? Or if school districts decide that, teachers are going to do virtual instruction at home, does that also bring about its own or different types of stress?
So if schools close, maybe their concern around their own health might be decreasing because it means that they're not contacting with people. But if they're switching to online instruction or like any kind of other educational content, then it adds to another level of stress, because that means that they should all switch their planning and their curriculum as well. So teachers are already stressed with uncertainty. And then if school closes, then it means that they should figure out what to do with those instructions. And also, like, really primary stressor for teachers coming from the fact that they care about students. Because they're concerned about students, they want to do well with students.
Of course.
If schools just close, then they're definitely worried about how they can help students at this point in terms of instruction. And also emotional support for students.
Sure. Well, I think you've given us a lot to think about with this topic, and I think we're going to just think about how we as school leaders can continue to support teachers in this conversation. So for the Center for Safe and Healthy Schools, I'd like to say thank you for joining in. I am Annette Anderson, and I just would like to say again, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.